Hello everyone, today we're going to send 5 gay mouse men on a journey in Rimworld. The game is set on Blood and Dust with Cassandra Classic as the AI storyteller. We're going to see how far our 5 medieval gay mouse men can get inside a mountain cave, specifically the Crystal Caverns biome. Unfortunately, this means they all get rich from crystals very quickly, and that means stronger raids will start hitting us almost immediately. Our crew consists of Greypaw the shopkeeper, Parsley the miner, Whitepaw the doctor, Cotton Fur the hunter, and Whitetail the joiner, and yes, they're all gay, so this colony is definitely going to smell like salt and musk, and I can't risk getting demonetized here, so I'm not going to say what I want to say. As we start the game, we are slowly whisked into the Crystal Caverns. There are glow slugs and other crystal wildlife, and there's steel everywhere, and the biome is abundant with food, and all of our conners can do everything basically, so the start should be off to a great start. To start, we need to deconstruct all of the crystals near the geothermal vent, which will later be used as our power source. The area has good defense due to the cavern walls and can be improved with traps later and potentially turrets. Oh my god, begin building their first home. Parsley and Whitepaw immediately start a social fight. Great. Why? Why would you start doing that? The only doctor has just injured the miner. I drop a sleeping spot in the dirt and force Whitepaw to tend to Parsley for starting the fight in the first place. You are stupid. For God's sake, at the start, why? But this will come back to haunt us because, as it turns out, the sleeping spot, well, obviously it looks dirty, and Parsley, he's going to get an infection. And now they can get infected, because they're so stupid. Anyway, moving on, with the basic structure done, Greypaw and Whitepaw begin researching electricity. Once that's complete, we'll unlock geothermal power, which we actually need to use that fancy vent that we cleared earlier. So the game asked us what to name our faction. After about 30 seconds of deep reflection, I proudly chose Mount Rat for the settlement, Krat City. Totally not derivative in any way. Anyway, not long after I noticed something strange. Some skull-top mushrooms began to appear in the deeper caverns. They're small now, but once they grow, and when they do, they will become a problem. But we're not going to go down there anytime soon. We can just ignore that for now. You just went back to sleep. For the next stage of the game, we needed food. So I did what any responsible colony manager would do. I ordered my loyal gay mouse to overhunt the local wildlife. And before you ask, no, I don't think there's any ethical obligation here. They're randomly spawned in, so it won't affect anything. But while doing this, we got our first raid from a faction called the Demons. Well, I have a feeling that dude might be attacked before he gets to us. How very elegant. My first mistake was assuming the raider would be taken out by ravenous crystal wildlife before reaching us, but I think this did not happen. Luckily, it was just one single raider with a club, not very terrifying. I set out our 2 heroes, Cotton Fur and Greypaw, to gun him down. Why are you melee attacking him? Unfortunately, Greypaw, in a display to possibly impress and later breed Cotton Fur, decided to run into melee range before I could stop him. And then, Whitetail. Oh my god! Who, for some reason, just decides to wander outside mid-fight, gets hit in the face with a club. Of course he does, here's our protagonist. Why is self-10 disabled automatically? Eventually, Greypaw and Cotton Fur shoot the raider to death, but I thought, hey, let Whitetail get his revenge. So I let him go in for the final melee strike. You kind of want to. Before he even gets there, Parsley just casually strolls in, picks up the corpse and tracks it to the butcher table, and just starts processing it into meat. What a weirdo. Oh, Whitepaw wooed Whitetail. After this trauma, Whitepaw wooed Whitetail. Yeah, they're together now, which meant, of course, we had to build them a double bed so they could, you know, have some fun. That's our first couple right there. Also, since everyone shares the same sleeping space, it's definitely going to smell musky and, you know, a lot. Especially at night. To avoid another raid like the one we just had, I decided to make the colonists build a proper trap entrance to the base. It's going to have to be a small hallway lined with spike traps and fences, so any raiders will have to walk through it to reach us. In theory, it should work. In theory. But there's a problem, of course, because the walls are made of crystal and the spike traps, well, they're also made of crystal. Which means our colony wealth is shooting up faster. And I feel like we're about to be hit with some very spicy raids. Alas, the new entrance extension is finally complete. We now have sufficient security. Also, we've somehow ended up with an extreme abundance of steel. I guess they've mined a lot of steel. However, in unrelated news, it appears that an insect is self-tamed and joined our colony. Oh, yeah, but that won't last because when food runs low, it's getting processed. Probably by parsley. Unfortunately, we're met with another raid, this time by a furry named Valdez. This furry will become our undoing in the future, but we don't know that yet. Right now, he's just another raider charging through the crystal caverns who wants to murder our colonists. His companion is swiftly shot to death. No really ceremony there, but Valdez, we've incapacitated him, we drag him into the base, patch him up, and in a moment of genuine Rimworld optimism, we begin the process of making him ours. We want to break his will and win his heart and eventually make him Parsley's husband. As you do. Right after capturing Valdez, we're immediately attacked by, oh my god, of course, a crystal mantis. Apparently, the local wildlife is dying out and the predators are getting angry. And we're the meat. But then, before we can even rest, a slate crystal crab shows up. Oh my god, stop. Thankfully, our colonists can handle it. No casualties, but just a reminder that this biome is beautiful, but also actively trying to murder us. Oh. I can take everyone away from here. Perfect. No more researching for now. We need to build this. Finally, the research is complete. We could build a geothermal generator. Hurrah, we have power now. Time to start upgrading our defenses. As soon as we get enough components, we'll electrify the base. No more stumbling around the dark and no more colonists getting sad because, well, it's too dark. Best of all, we can finally freeze our food, so for once, food isn't a problem anymore. Everything is finally getting better, which in Rimworld is usually a warning. We're probably going to have a very bad raid soon. So, I checked the faction's wealth and it's worryingly high. Like, we're not supposed to have this much crystal at an early stage like this. Because of the crystal structure, so we're gonna have to build a massive trap place, way bigger than what it is right now. Which means that if we can't bring that number down, the next raid might be our last. We're about to have some very dangerous company, aren't we? And just as I was talking about
Oh my god.
we get our first raid in a while. Wow, that's a lot of raiders. I'm not gonna lie, I really hope we can survive this, but I've got a bad feeling. If we do make it out, we'll probably lose someone, which would honestly be kind of sad because it's been over an hour playing this game, and against all odds, we haven't lost a single colonist yet, but fingers crossed, here we go. Interesting, so they go that way. So, here's the plan. I did build originally a southern wall lined with spike traps. Basically, when one tries to enter it, it will probably kill them. But what do the raiders do? Do they go south through my ingenious trap corridor? No, of course not. They go north, right into the main entrance, which, by the way, has fewer traps and gives them direct access to our air conditioning for the freezer, which the AI loves. What are you doing, Parsley? Just stay there. So, yeah, pretty smart feeling right now here. Only Great Paul was hurt in the raid. Well, That's what I thought anyway. Except, while the battle was still raging, I may have completely neglected him. White Paw, what are you doing? Make sure he's, White Paw, our only doctor, was all the way up at the bottom of the base, and you're supposed to be the doc. Why is it free? He wasn't doctoring, even though that is, and I cannot stress this enough, literally set as his first priority, so... This is your fault, you idiot. Oh my god. White Paw decides instead of thingying it, he wants to repair build that. Oh my god. Grey Paw dies from blood loss, which, you know, is usually something you survive. If someone actually tends to it in time, thanks, White Paw. Again. Parsley was busy cooking when Grey Paw's body hit the floor, which meant I just had enough time to flag the body as not edible before Parsley could, you know, process him. So logically, I built a sarcophagus in our very first and laid Grey Paw to rest, properly. He's the colony's first casualty, and of course he was our best gunner, so yeah, things are, not looking great at all, really. So, lesson learned, the next priority is building a proper northern wall to stop raiders from waltzing right into the base and hopefully to protect the rest of our colonists from meeting the same fate as Grey Paw. This time it's definitely going to work, probably. Oh, and Valdez, our ex-prisoner, has finally joined the colony, which is great, except his stats are, well, they're terrible. So now we have our first furry colonist in the colony, who can't really shoot great, can't build well, or can't even cook, but at least he's here. Some progress at least. By the time the northern wall is finally finished, things are, well, they're not looking great. Cutterfair's gone berserk, still grieving for Grey Paw, he lashes out, and poor Valdez is taking the brunt of it. Cutterfair even tries to shoot Valdez, but I scramble in the others to send them in to stop him. A good old-fashioned melee dog pal here.
Shoot.
And a fucking doctor, stop running away, you shit. And now we're being raided, fuck off. White Paw, our only doctor, decides, of course, it's the best time to leave the base right when I need him to tend to Cottonfur's wounds, and then, because Rimworld has perfect timing, a raid happens, once again. Thankfully, it's just a group of tribesmen, no modern tech, so as long as they go through our traps, we should be fine. I say should be, but because why wouldn't this happen? Whitetail, in his infinite wisdom, decides to leave the base right as the raid starts. Now he's trapped inside the northern wall with the raiders right behind him, and they're fast.
Fucking idiot.
It's impressive, since I definitely told Whitetail to rest before all this kicked off. Thanks, Whitetail, again. Oh my god. Now he's gonna kidnap him. Fuck off. The tribesmen managed to kidnap Whitetail, so of course we have to send the colony on a rescue mission. Valdez, of all people, manages to kill the kidnapper and track Whitetail back to safety. Or so he thought, but it turns out Whitetail is too far gone. Whitetail once again.
Love this. Love this.
Fails to tend his own husband.
Love this. When the game
Fast enough, I mean White Paw, and Whitetail dies.
Stupid AI in this game gets them killed. Oh. Cotton Fur is infected, another person about to die.
And meanwhile gets an infection, and judging by our track record with medicine, he's probably not going to make it either. Then, as if things couldn't get any worse after Whitetail's death, Valdez immediately goes into a murderous rage. He kills Parsley. You just killed— oh my god, that's right, 1 rescue, 2 deaths, and a colony on the brink.
You know what? This colony is gonna just die.
Rimworld, a game about storytelling, or in our case,
killed Parsley.
we're watching everything fall apart in real time just as the game got good.
I'm just gonna accept that the colony, the non-violent dude's gonna kill it.
White Paw, our absolutely awful doctor, decides that he wants revenge, so what does he do? He kills Valdez for killing Parsley. That's right, Valdez is now dead too. And he doesn't do it just any old way. White Paw, who's usually the non-violent colonist, grabs a gun and does the deed himself. Then, he decides it better for a Cotton Fur to die from a bullet than infection, so he shoots him next. Cotton Fur somehow doesn't die because, of course. Instead, White Paw's final act is to start a fight with an insect, and then the insect kills him. So, to recap, our doctor kills the last survivors, can't finish the job properly, then gets killed by an insect. And the colony officially at this point is a complete disaster, so in the aftermath of all of this, a man in black arrives. The game's last-ditch attempt to save my doomed colony, but... well, let's just say this, he dies. He gets killed by a crystal mantis on the way to the base to save our colonists, so that's it. Officially, mental breaks just ended my game. Thanks colonists for getting angry over the most trivial things. Game over, everyone's dead, Valda's ruined everything, and now all that's left is an empty, abandoned base, or is it? Because Rimworld gives you one more option, abandon the colony or sending a new crew.
It was going good, and then everyone just fucking Valdez ruins everything.